Second video in Bali. Manuel here, 2025. This is the year. You notice the video is way different than the other time. Same room, different setup, better lighting, a microphone, using my camera. Like I set up a little bit of studio here. Let's see what we can get with this. Let's get to the point. I want to talk on this channel about photography, videography in general, or everything that is related around, like the adventures, the trips, and some tips and whatever comes up to my mind. But I want to talk about something I can rant about for 10 minutes and just have stuff to say. So photography it is. If you want to start making photos like this, and this is my style. I've been developing my style in the last 4 years. Still not considering myself an expert, but I got to a level where I kind of like my photos, and I can show you how I take these pictures, how I edit these pictures, and you don't need to take a course. Like there are a lot of online courses you have to pay for get results, but I can teach you for free with my videos. So this is the goal of my first videos, is just to give some free course, free content, free value, to build up an audience and find my direction as well, where I want to go on YouTube. You know, the first 10, 20 videos are just to understand the direction. All right, let's get started with some camera stuff. Let's get with the basics. So I got dressed up more professional because we have to talk about professional stuff. So let's get serious for a while. Photography. You need to know three pillars of photography. The lens has the f, which is the aperture, which means how small or big is the hole of the lens. And then has the millimeters, which is how zoomed or zoom out is the lens, the image it takes. And then the camera has the ISO. The ISO is just like the volume knob that turns off on up and down the light. These three things are the pillars of photography. They all work together, and you have to set them properly by mixing all these values for every situation. It's quite easy, don't get worried, because it's like driving. It's like the clutch, the brake, and the accelerator, or like the brake, the accelerator, and the steering wheel if you're driving an automatic car. Like it's the three things completely different between them. And the first time you don't know what to press with your feet and your hands, but then after a while, you agree that it gets so natural, you just don't even think about when you drive. Right. With a camera, it's the same thing. Like the three things that the first time you struggle to try to make them right, but then later on in the game, you know how to use them like instinctively. And most of the time, I keep the ISO on auto, for example. All right, so let's start with the first one. Boom. I would like to start with the ISO, so we just get it out of the shelves and we can move with the more fun part. So the ISO is the volume knob. It's the volume knob of your sensor. It just increases the gain of your sensor by raising the lighting. But by raising the light, you also raise the noise. So if the image is not exposed properly, if there is some noise, this will be more visible in the final picture. This means you will have this grainy effect. But sometimes raising your ISO is the last resource you should use to still save the picture, to have a properly exposed picture that is not too dark, or lowering the ISO if you don't want it too bright. If the price of not modifying the ISO is losing the picture, then it's fine to pay it and to add some noise and some grain to the image. But we keep this as our last resource. So maybe I should have started with the other two first. I don't know. All right, let's go with the second one. The second one is the focal length. The focal length determines the zoom at which your lens is shooting. Imagine that our eye is 50 millimeters. So with a lens with 50 millimeters, more or less you see what the human eye sees. If you go below the 50 millimeters, you're gonna have a zoom out, so you're gonna see more, like it's called a wide angle. And if you go above 50 millimeters, you will see zoomed in, so you're gonna see bigger images. But the beautiful thing of these is not just the wide angle or zoom vision, but it's also how it affects the background of your subject. So if you have a low focal length, if you go under the 50 millimeters, the background behind your subject will look very far away. So if you want to create like a dramatic situation where the background is far away from your subject, then you go with a lens that has a low focal length. But if you want to bring the background stick to the back of your subject, like it's so close, then you go up with the millimeters with a zoom lens. And now the third one. The third and last part is the aperture. The aperture is my favorite because it's what gives you the amazing bokeh. What is the bokeh? It's the screamy background that like melts behind your subject. And it's obtained by having a very low aperture, which is basically 1.4, 1.2, 1.8. But let's see what does it mean. So the aperture in the lens is when the lens itself, which has a little hole in the center that makes the light enter, gets bigger or smaller. With a bigger hole, the aperture is lower. I know, it's counterintuitive. It should be the opposite, but I didn't make the rules. With a small aperture, which means a big hole in the lens, a lot of light enter in the camera. So this will give you brighter images and also a more beautiful background, completely blurred. But your subject will be in focus only in a narrow space. So let's say that this camera is recording at a low aperture. So maybe the focus area is this arrow space. As long as I'm inside this, I'm in focus. If I come forward or backward, this narrow area are gonna be out of focus. Now, with a bigger aperture size, which means the hole of the camera gets smaller, less light enters in the camera, so the images will be darker. Then we have the background that is no longer creamy and blurry. It's very sharp. Everything is in focus. In fact, the focus area may be like gigantic. So everything is in this area will be in focus. Alrighty then, so time to wrap up what we learned today in this video, and then in the next videos we are going to build our academy, like let's say like build our knowledge on photography. But the first thing to know is these three concepts. The ISO is the volume knob to raise the lining or lower the lining in the camera. Is artificial, is electronic, and it's very useful to save the picture. But if you rise the ISO, then you will also rise the noise, which is these grainy points that make your image look like, I don't know, that could be artistic, but usually I don't really like the noise in the picture. So that's your last resource. Then we have the focal length and the aperture. The focal length is a 50 millimeters is the eyesight, then above 50 millimeters, so with a longer lens, we zoom in, and with less than 50 millimeters, we zoom out. And what's the pros and cons of each of them? When you're zooming in, the background sticks to your shoulder, to the shoulder of your subject. When you zoom out, also the background goes far away. So depending on how you want to make your picture, maybe you want someone standing on a skyline of a city and you want like to pull the buildings close to the back of the subject, then you use a zoomed lens. You have to go far away to take a photo because you have a zoom, but then when you take your subject, you will see all the buildings like they are behind him. Or vice versa, you want to send far away the buildings, then you use a wide angle lens with low focal length, like 20 millimeters, 18 millimeters, and then you see those buildings like far away behind. And then there is the aperture. Remember, low aperture, creamy bokeh, that's what you want, that's what is beautiful for the eye. With a low aperture, you get a lot of light in your shot. That is important to have a bright view, a bright photo without using the ISO. With a high aperture, so like f11, f22, you got less light in the photo. Then this is good for panorama and for shooting a skyline at night or whatever, because everything is in focus. But the light that enters is a little, so especially at night, that can be a problem. But we'll see in the next video where we're gonna talk about shutter speed and how do we handle how much light enters in the camera. So, if you follow until here, thank you very much, and I see you in the next video. Ciao. Boom. Done.